I think of it as in terms of 3 steps. Simplify, isolate, solve. Today, you will only do simplify and solve. We won't do isolate until tomorrow at the earliest. And so let's write these down. S stands for simplify. I stands for isolate. S, the last S, stands for solve. Simplify, isolate, solve. Okay, let's talk about what these mean. Simplify. We talked about this on Friday. You need to distribute. Distribute first. And then combine like terms. You have to distribute first before you combine like terms. To isolate means to, and you should write this down, to isolate means to add or subtract one or the other, not going to do both. To get your variables on one side. And then solve is what we've been doing. PEMDAS backwards, so SADMET. So remember we draw that balancing line down the middle to keep our work organized and to remind us to do the same thing on both sides. First thing we check for is, can we simplify? Guys, can we simplify?
Yeah.
Yes. Please raise your hand if you can tell me how. Isaiah? Terms you can only combine if they're on the same side. So 9x and negative 6x are like terms. 12, negative 12 and 15 are not like terms. Think of this line down the middle like a brick wall. These two people, negative 12 and 15, are not friends. Do not combine them. They will be angry about it. Okay, combine those two, 9x minus 6x. What do we get, guys?
3x.
Brilliant. 3x's now. And then bring down the rest. So negative 12 plus 15. Is there anything else we need to simplify? I think we're good. There's no more like terms. There's no distribution. So now we're just going to solve under the addition or subtraction first. So minus 15. Remember, we're trying to get x by itself. And so I need to take away the 3 and the 15. Negative 12 is already away from it. That zeroes out. And we rewrite. I'm at negative 12 and I go down 15 more. Where am I at, Carson, with the K? If I'm at negative 12 and then I do minus 15, what number do I get?
Negative 27.
Yep. Negative 27, thank you. And I bring down the 3x, exactly what it looks like. How do I undo multiplication, guys? Divide by 3 on both sides. We have a negative divided by a positive, so we should get negative 9 is equal to x, and that divides out. You can check your work like we've been doing. We're going to save time and not do that right now. Draw your balancing line. It's a brick wall. Keep those sides separate. Remind you to do the same thing to both sides. Kevin, what do you think I should do first? Do you see something to distribute, maybe? Yeah, that 2. So we have to distribute first. If you see distribution, you got to do it. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times negative 1x would be negative 2x. Remember, if you don't see a number in front of the variable, it's a 1. Are we distributing to the 3? Nah, it's not in the parentheses. Remember, the 2 is like the chip, and the parentheses is like the bowl. Don't dip outside the bowl. 3 just shows up like late to the party. And bring down the negative 8. Okay, we distributed. Can we combine like terms? Yes. Yes, 2 and positive 3. Do I combine with the negative 8? No, they are not friends. Negative 8 is on the other side of the brick wall. Do not combine with it. They will be angry. Okay. Combine those. 2 plus 3 would give me 5. So 5 minus 2x is equal to negative 8. Kayla, what should I do next? Okay. Zeroes out. And I bring down the negative 2x, and I'm at negative 8, and I go down 5 more. There's no shame in using your number line. Where are we at? Negative 13. That's subtracting 2, right? No. That's multiplication. That's multiplication. Trick question is divide by negative 2 to get rid of it. So if we do negative divided by negative, we should get a positive. You should not need a calculator for this. Think about it. If I do 12 divided by 2, I get 6. One more, take half of that. What do we get? Yeah. Tell your neighbor, what are you distributing? Serenity, what am I distributing?
The negative 1.
Thank you. Yes, this is a negative 1. We are not distributing the 7m. It's tricky. It's kind of hidden. So let's draw that balancing line. And we have to start by simplifying, right? So we're going to distribute first. Distribute the negative 1. If you want to bring down the 7m first, just so you don't accidentally distribute it, and bring down the 25 first, that's fine with me. So now we can distribute. So minus 2m. And negative 1 times positive 5 would give me what? Yeah, negative 5. Cool. Distribute. Can we combine like terms? Yes. Justin, what are my like terms?
7m and 3m.
Are you sure it's 2m? Take the sign. Take the sign in front. So that would be 7m minus 2m's would give me 5m's. Minus 5 is equal to 25. Now you just got a 2-step equation. We worked on that yesterday. Undo the addition or subtraction, and then multiply or divide. So we're going to add 5. That zeroes out. And we get 30. 5m. What's the last thing I do, Isaiah? So m is equal to 6. So we're going to distribute the 5 and the positive 2. You have to do both of those first before you start combining like terms. Whoa. So 5 times 3 would give me 15. 5 times negative 1x would give me negative 5x. 2 times x is positive 2x. And 2 times 2 is positive 4. Do we have like terms?
Yeah.
Yes. Tell your partner, what are your 2 pairs of like terms? Aaliyah, please tell me 1 pair of like terms.
Negative 5x and 2x.
Wonderful. Positive 2x. And Kirsten, what's the other pair of like terms?
15 and 4.
Okay. Combine these up. We get negative 3x plus 19 is equal to 14. What do I do next, Carson, with a C? Mm-hmm. So I left with negative 3x is equal to negative 5. And then last thing I should do, Muhammad, is what?
I divide negative 3 on both sides.
Well said. Okay, here's the thing. You could put your answer as a decimal, but it's going to be a repeating number, and I would much rather you leave it as a fraction. Please. Negative divided by negative is a positive. I should leave this, because it can't be simplified, as 5/3. Improper fractions are a good thing when you get to higher level math. So don't make it a mixed number. Don't say 1 2/3. We don't like that. Leave it as 5/3. All right. Remember we talked about yesterday? The thing that happens over and over or every time goes next to a variable. Whatever happens once or what you start with goes alone. And whatever is your total goes by the equal sign. So you and your friends are ordering tickets to see Taylor Swift at the Sprint Center. Each ticket costs $120, and there's a $3.50 handling fee per ticket. There's also a $10 shipping fee to mail the tickets to your house because you want to back up in case your phone dies. Your total order is $504. So let's figure out what's happening here. Well, first off, let's define our variable. What are we trying to figure out? How many tickets? So we should probably say, you could do X or T. We'll say let T be equal to the number of tickets. And now we got to figure out these numbers. So I want to know, and you're going to talk about it in a second. I would like to know what happens once. What happens every time or over and over? And what is your total? Keep in mind that we're talking about multi-step equations, so some of these categories might have more than one thing. Yep, they both happen twice. So 120 and 350. They're both happening per ticket. What's our total, guys? Jeez. Let's really want to see Taylor Swift. Let's write our equation. The thing that happens once goes by itself. So I can just put... on this one, you might need your calculator. Go ahead and simplify and solve. Please write a sentence after you get it. You and your friends that's also fine. You and your friends bought 4 tickets, as long as you got a sentence of some kind.